somebody decided to go overboard on purpose. What am I talking about? Talking about this story here from Disneyland News Today. Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland. Guest climbs out a boat and sits near animatronics on Pirates of the Caribbean at the happiest place on earth. This by Jamie Rowland. A video posted to TikTok shows two guests being escorted off Pirates of the Caribbean in Disneyland, presumably after exiting the boat. The video does not show the two guests exiting the ride vehicle. However, you can see a female guest seated near one of the ride's animatronics. She is speaking and gesturing towards a second guest, hidden by props. I believe we do have this video right here. You can see that guest. It's kind of hard to make out, but you can see she's sitting in and amongst the finale scene of Disneyland's version of the Pirates of the Caribbean. What is going on, guys?
What's going on?
What's going on is this is an opportunity for a tremendous one-liner that I can't say on this show, and I'm really mad about it.
Okay, well, I do appreciate you keeping it clean there, Marvin. But here's the other thing, too. Okay, they send, I think Lou Wasserman's Ghost actually make this point. They send a lone female cast member to deal with this, group here and escort them off the attraction? Okay, I'm sorry. Why would you send one lone cast member to deal with this situation? You have no idea what they will actually do. Obviously, they were, not in the right state of mind to stay within their boat. Why on earth aren't you sending a team, especially led by security, in order to escort these guests out of here?
So yeah, security should have been leading the charge there. This should have been this is criminal trespass.
Absolutely it is
100%, and you have to treat it as a criminal act. I don't care if it's a lady, if it's a guy, who it is. It's you have to treat it well. By the way, guys, I put my one-liner in the private chat so you guys can enjoy it because it was a good one.
I got the song stuck in my head.
Very much appreciate that. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Marvin. It's like, why on earth are you just sending just one person out there? Again, this could be a tremendous incident if it decided to escalate, and now you have a lone cast member in the fray there. And this has been happening a lot recently. Help me understand, guys. We have this drunk guest.
Johnny Depp animatronic.
Well, the Johnny Depp animatronic is actually right next to the finale scene as it's depicted here. So you can see, this is the B-roll that I took last time I was actually on the attraction. You can see kind of where this person was actually at. And then just beyond this is the Johnny Depp animatronic figure. So I will agree with your assessment. It's, if you're going to sit by somebody, I think it would be Johnny Depp, but hey, that's neither here nor there. But we have this incident in which, guests are jumping off the Mexican Pavilion attraction over there at Epcot. Now, one could maybe argue, maybe get a little bit loose there with the margaritas and, things happen right there. But in this case, it was Disneyland. And this is just after we saw something very similar with the Living with the Land attraction over there at Epcot as well. Guys, what is something in the water? What is happening here?
At Epcot, it's very clear what happens at Epcot. People, Epcot is a park that is specifically designed to get you hammered. And then people, when they are that level of inebriated, do stupid things. I don't know what the excuse is in Disneyland.
Yeah, it's a dry park. Maybe they were at the Blue Bayou over there, right, Culture? And they just had drinks recently and decided to hop on the attraction afterwards. And, we can only speculate. But what is going on? Why do people do this?
Lack of social maturity. Look, I've been seeing this for a long time, and it's only getting worse. People lack, I'm going to say it, intelligence now. They don't understand that there are going to be consequences, no matter how much you paid. And what's been contributing to this, and we talked about this, it feels like just a few weeks ago, that people feel entitled to misbehave when they don't believe that they're getting the value that they should be for their money. And with Disney constantly pulling away value and perks and benefits and stuff like that, and going on a never-ending fee increase, I think Marvin wrote an article about that recently. People feel entitled to this is kind of terrible, I'm gonna do this. And look, they don't even care about the consequences. Is it possible that Disney doesn't offer enough value that people don't care what happens if they do something dumb? Maybe.
It's a funny thing. You would think that it being more expensive would cause people to want to behave themselves more, but I actually think that it's had the opposite effect here. Also, there's a lot of we've mentioned this many times on the channel. there's a lot of mechanisms in those waters, and you can't always see them. And even thinking that the water is as clear as you think it is, sometimes that water is colored in order to hide those mechanisms even more if it's not in the dark, like in Pirates of the Caribbean. It's just such a bad idea to get out of your ride vehicle, because it's not like you're getting out into a pool. Even you're getting out into an industrial setting that is meant to move large objects full of many people. So there are powerful mechanisms in the water at Disney parks.
I will say that this area right here in Culture, I know you've been on this attraction many times when it's done this. This is the area that frequently does back up, right? So there is a like at Disneyland, unlike at Walt Disney World, you don't just go down the waterfall, you go up the waterfall. Yes. And that is where the lift hill it takes place. That's the base of that, right? And so sometimes that can get a little delayed, and you're there for, I mean, I've been there as long as 20 minutes. Sometimes it's a long time, just because you're waiting for a unload up top. Maybe they have a disabled guest, let's say, and they're trying to get them in and out, and so that can delay everybody down the waterway there, and that's why you might be waiting for additional time. Many scenarios could actually take place in that situation. So the idea that you get out at this section doesn't necessarily surprise me, because with additional waits creates additional opportunities for that. But I am still very surprised. Go ahead, Culture.
No, you said it very plainly. This particular area, especially at Disneyland, can be a little bit boring for a while. And again, it is because of inefficiency at unload, but at the same time, I mean, there's nowhere to go. So you have to have access available for people to exit on foot if the attraction actually goes one-on-one. So it makes perfect sense that there are those walkways, but at the same time detrimental. And I've seen people exit on Splash Mountain. I've seen people exit in this situation. I watched somebody get off of Rockin' Roller Coaster during an E-stop.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, they how they got it undone from the harness mechanism. Yeah, I could not, the shoulder restraints. I couldn't believe that. I was like, how did you manage to wiggle out of there? But they literally got up and exited on the red carpet there. I was like, and then everybody had to get off, right? Because at that point, it just forced everybody, no matter where they were during the E-stop, to get off the attraction. Wild stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that, because you're going to mess up everybody else's day too.
Of course, you're going to mess up a lot of people's day. Please stay inside the vehicle with all hands, arms, feet, and legs inside until the boat, coaster, ride vehicle comes to a complete stop.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.